welcome back to another episode of Horror 365. I am your host, the mouthpiece of the Northeast, and today, it's all over. It ends, or did it end? Oh, well, we're going to continue that conversation. We're talking Halloween ends and, well, the Halloween franchise in total. And today, joining me, we have one of our Horror 365 Final Girls, I want to call it, Marissa, a.k.a. Creepy Betty. Thank you for joining us.
Yay! Thank you for having me again.
Well, I know you didn't want to miss this conversation talking about ends. And I like that shirt. Was it The Curse of Michael Myers?
Yes. H6. H6.
Nice. I don't see many of those shirts.
I love H6.
Yeah, well, we're going to get
into some... more about that later.
Yeah, 100%. And then we have Eli. Eli, how are you? Your first time on Horror 365. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Wish the first time wasn't me, in bed sick, but I'm happy to be here.
Hey, listen, you're a trooper. You're joining us today, sick and all, because your passion for Halloween franchise. And we're going to get into that. And then joining us probably sometime during the course of this conversation will be Mr. Steve Roman, a.k.a. Teasus, on Instagram. Steve's a great guy, man. He's connected me with a lot of different people. He actually helped us, Horror 365, make a connection with Fangoria, as they are one of our sponsors. Shout out to Fangoria for the event in December with Kane Hodder. Jason Takes PA, and folks, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know where to find a ticket, jasontakespa.eventbrite.com. That's jasontakespa.eventbrite.com. Guys, girls, today, Horrorheads, we are talking Halloween Ends. We're recapping that movie. I have some thoughts. Okay, I have a lot of thoughts. Yes. Because did evil really die? I don't know.
Evil dies tonight.
We got some Loomis. And, speaking of Loomis, okay, and now that we're on the show here, last week, during that three-parter, the three-segment show that we had because Jimmy J didn't pay the bill on the Zoom, we got in a whole conversation. Well, it was multiple things we were talking about, but, one thing that brought up that we were talking about was cosplays, obviously. And Loomis, you guys now are pushing me to get this Dr. Loomis cosplay going. And
you got to do it, man. You got to do it.
It's meant to be, Jimmy. It's meant to be.
You just have that character, and you can have that different persona too.
I appreciate that. I'm thinking about it. You got me thinking about it. I might have to, but if I do, this is the one and done. I'm going to be Loomis, and I'm going to own it. Okay, I already was going through some of the lines. I mean, I've been peppering the messages with lines throughout the whole week since you guys had brought this into the universe. You manifested it into the universe of cosplay and horror.
Every time I see Loomis now, I can't unhear it. I just hear you now.
It's like, Michael, you have to go to the place where it all began. Go home, Michael. Yeah, no. So I'm doing these lines now, and I'm trying to get that Loomis. I have to own it, man. And this is what I think I did.
Go all out. You have to act like batshit crazy.
Oh yeah, well that's not too hard to do. I'm halfway. I'm almost there pretty much.
I think we all are. We're horror fans. Come on.
Yeah.
Listen, all of us, we're just like a few French fries short of a Happy Meal, but it's okay. That's what makes us horror fans.
The misfits.
But what is normal? Somebody tell me what normal is.
Boring. I don't know.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I say. It's boring. You want to be nuts.
There's no such thing. Yeah. Everyone has their own quirks.
That's it. 100%.
I shit insane. Why are you?
Facts. Yeah.
Just random things. You want to live. You want to enjoy life. You be you, and that's it. And that's who we are. And you can call us horrorheads, crazy. You can call us weird creeps. But you know what? We're fun. We're entertaining. That's it. We love this. We're passionate about it, and we're going to continue to celebrate Horror 365. Come on, this is what we're doing. So before we get into ends, let's talk where it all began. Let's talk 19.
Go home.
Do you know what today is?
Do you know the date?
Do you know the date?
I can't take it seriously.
It's not even Halloween yet, and Michael's here. I tell you, Sheriff, 6 bodies. I'm not gonna stop. Just random outburst of Loomis. That's it.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
let's talk actually, I want to talk about the timeline. So if you look at Halloween as a whole, there are 5 timelines I counted here, and
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong here. So the first timeline I got is 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, and then
Yep.
I got 1, H2O, and Resurrection,
Mhm.
and then we have 3 as a standalone, and Rob Zombie 2007, 2009, I believe.
Yep.
And then it was obviously the final one was 1, 2018, Kills and Ends. Those are the 5 timelines I have down. Am I missing any, or I believe that's it. Hope to God.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all of them.
Yes.
There it is.
That is all.
Let me ask you first. Let's go down the line. Eli, what is your favorite timeline from the Halloween franchise?
Oh boy. Oh boy. I think my favorite timeline, and I'm probably gonna get some slack about it, only because I love him personally, it would have to be the Rob Zombie one.
Woo!
Wow.
I have to, because and this is my justification. Rob Zombie is like us, right? We're weirdos who love horror. We kind of base our whole characters around it, correct? And here comes Rob Zombie, who is a little bit of both. Like, not only is he just absolutely chaotic, which I love, but he kind of captures kind of like the weird out of the blue things you wouldn't quite normally see in normal horror movies. They worry on the jump scares with a little bit of the plot, and then all of a sudden the movie's ending. With Rob Zombie, you have different, like, that's new, okay, but it leaves you thinking on how it all ties into each other at the end.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about
Well, it's definitely different.
it.
And
Yeah.
I feel like and I got some heat for this too, because I actually enjoyed the Rob Zombie films. And
Hmm.
the second one, and people like, "Are you kidding me? It's like the worst Halloween movie." They start crucifying me for it. But there's something about it. I mean, one thing I took from Rob Zombie's version of Halloween is the brutality. Michael's
Oh, yes.
brutality. And obviously we've seen that with Halloween Kills now, that brutality come back, but and even 2018, but man, this was the first time we seen Michael, I think, this vicious was with Rob. And then we also seen like character development in 2007 and 2009. So it's
Yeah.
literally the first time I heard anybody say that is their favorite timeline from Halloween. So hey, there's a first for everything. Own it,
Yes.
and I'm not gonna crucify you. I promise, Eli.
I
I
respect
respect it.
you for that. I respect you for
That's
that.
it. Hell yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
what I'm saying. I respect you for actually, I mean, I don't know how many viewers we have, maybe dozens and dozens out here, but but you know what? Everybody watching, they're probably right now, as they're hearing this or watching this right now, if they're Halloween fans, they're probably going nuts. Just listen to that. Their blood pressure just went up 20 points on the
Oh,
systolic and the
yes.
diastolic. But it's but
They're getting ready to throw hands, start fights.
yeah, I wouldn't be
Yep.
surprised if they
The
start
bait,
messaging you out of nowhere,
the
like,
bait
"Who's this guy? Hey, Eli, that's it, it's over." Like, yeah, they're coming for you now, man. It's over, but don't worry, we got your
canceled. You're
back.
officially canceled.
Jesus, don't worry, we got your back. So, okay, Marissa, what's your favorite timeline?
The Curse of Thorn timeline. So the original 2, 4, 5, and 6.
And why is that? Let me ask why.
Um, I think like some of it has to do with nostalgia because my first Halloween movies that I ever watched were 4 and 5 on AMC's Fright Fest, like when I was like 10. And I just immediately fell in love with 4 and 5. Like I don't know, Michael was brutal in those movies. And Danielle Harris, I mean, come
Yeah,
on. She's
yeah,
phenomenal. Phenomenal. She was only like 8, 9 years old in those movies, and she like acted her ass off. Like just owned those movies. So I loved it for nostalgia reasons, but I just I enjoy how bizarre those movies are too. Like once you start getting into like the whole like Curse of Thorn like mythology, I don't know. Everyone like hates on those movies because like they don't make sense, especially Halloween 6. Like people give 6 shit. 5
Oh,
and
jeez.
6 they give shit. But I don't know. I just like love how like batshit crazy they are. And Loomis is fucking batshit crazy too.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I think he had his best lines were in 4 and 5,
Yes,
in my
especially
opinion.
5, that like scene where he's like in the woods screaming at Michael.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's sitting there. He's like, "Oh, I got to do it again."
The rage where it all began.
Rage, Michael, to
I
go
love
to the
it.
place where it all began.
Go
They call
home.
it "Go home, go home." He's sitting there screaming
Yes.
into nothing, into the abyss, because he knows he feels Michael there. But you know what? You know, I got to talk about the acting. You know, you talk Danielle Harris as a child actress, man, just
She's
how she was.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, the fourth one, you know, the return, obviously, she did a great job in that one. But I think in 5, with those moments where she was seasoned, you know,
Yeah.
on the so I don't know what it took to get her to do that. Like as a child, like
And
that's
that
great.
last scene where she's like laying in the coffin and then Michael's about to kill her. And then it had that little exchange where you like
Yeah,
actually see like a tear coming down his face.
that's
But
right.
then he just like flips shit and like almost tries to kill her. And then
Mhm.
that scene was intense. I loved it.
It was, and you know, 4 and 5. I feel like I got to watch those back to back.
You
You know,
do.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just one of those things I can't watch. I mean, well, then again, I'm lying. I want to watch it back to back, but I could actually literally watch 4 probably almost every day and not get bored of
Yeah.
it. It's
4
one of
is
my favorite
great.
movies. Yeah, part
4 is
4.
great.
For me, with 4, it was the feel. You know, the whole ambiance. It felt like Halloween in the beginning. It opened right, and you know, even that the crazy guard that was talking about Michael and stuff like that, getting it amped up. It just the whole feel of it in the beginning, and then the story that they had, you know, with Jamie. I really enjoyed it. I did enjoy 4 and 5. 6, you know, it's one of those movies where it
I
got
love
over.
6.
Yeah, I like the feel. I like the horror aspect. Like in 6, I think 6 was probably, in my opinion, the creepiest Michael Myers Halloween movie
Mhm.
out
Oh, he was brutal.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely up there with like Rob Zombie and like Halloween 2018 and Kills, like in terms of brutality. He's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think Steve Roman is joining us momentarily.
Hey.
Hey, Steve, how are you, buddy?
Hi, Steve.
What's up,
Hello.
Steve?
Steve, we have Eli and Marissa on here. Can you hear us?
Yes, I am ready to go, my man.
Oh man, it's looking wow. You got an incredible setup back there.
Couple of Batman things.
A couple? That's got to be a retirement plan. That's, that's awesome. But yeah, we were just talking about timelines. When you jumped on and joined us, we were discussing like, you know, our favorites and why. And Eli went. He said that his favorite timeline was Rob Zombie, 2007, 2009. And then Marissa just said it was 1, 2. I forgot exactly what they called it. You said it was
Curse of
the
Thorn.
there it is. 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Steve, throwing you right into the fire, man. What is your favorite Halloween timeline?
Man, I think I'm kind of old school. I think I like I do love the new trilogy, which obviously we'll delve into in a bit, but I think 1 and 2 are always the ones that I always resonate with during the Halloween holidays, cuz to me it's like The Godfather. It's like 1 and 2 are one movie. It's one night. Um it takes you to the beginning of Myers all the way down to, you know, that epic scene. In to me, in my head, it's the middle where, you know, he gets shot and then now he's kind of heading to the hospital. So that's one epic night to me. Storytelling wise, it kind of completes it for me. But I do like how they have connected that first one into the new trilogy. So they are even, but to me, like just growing up, 1 and 2 have always been like my two favorites.
We were talking about 4 and 5 being a, you know, you have to watch it kind of back to back, and it's the same thing, double feature with 1 and 2 as well. For me, 2 holds a special place in my heart because that was literally the first movie that the missus and I watched together. It was the very first. It was Halloween 2. So and she's a huge
Wow.
Halloween fan. When you think of the franchise as a whole, you know, we can sit here for days and dissect each movie like individually. So by the time we finish, it'll be next Thursday. So what we'll do in this one, because I really wanted to talk more about Halloween Ends. Let's just get into that right now, unless anybody has anything else to say about the other films in the franchise.
No.
We're all good on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ends.
All right. So did evil die tonight? Did it happen? Halloween Ends. Oh, by the way, Steve, we were talking about my Loomis cosplay, my only cosplay I will ever be doing in my life, because they're pushing me to do a Dr. Loomis, and I've been practicing some of the lines, man. Yeah, we'll talk. I said it 17 times already. I said it 6 times. We'll talk about it later. Halloween Ends. Let's dive into that right now. So, okay, I'm not even going to say my thoughts right now. I want to go down the line. Steve, you just jumped on. Let's go with you. Your thoughts. Halloween Ends.
You're striking while the iron's hot.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. I've seen it about 2 times. I walked out. My first initial feeling was after I saw it, I didn't feel disappointed. I felt more intrigued to kind of watch it again. And I think I told you too, at the end, my biggest disappointment was kind of like, I wanted to see that final battle. You know, that was the buildup that I've been really waiting to see. And just to kind of guess in my head after seeing the trailers and kind of seeing some studio picks before, what was really going to happen. And to me, it just felt a little anticlimactic at the end. And that was the part that really kind of tore me apart. But I did respect that they did take such a abstract approach to it, but it was a little too abstract, right? We didn't get enough Myers. And that was my disappointment too, because it's that buildup, you know, it's like he's gone for all these years. And was that really a component that was really needed to happen? Did he have to be missing for that long in order to really kind of push this narrative forward? So I did like the story about Corey, but again, like I keep thinking in my head, if I try to treat this like a puzzle, where would this story fit the most? Like, would it be a good post Myers movie, or would it be a good supplement to like where Kills was, you know, and then kind of lead to that buildup? So that was, to me, it's disjointed, the whole storytelling, where 2018 to me is the perfect connection to 40 years later. And then it built up to that one night with Kills. Obviously people have those gripes, but to kind of end it the way that they did, I think was a disservice to James Jude Courtney as Michael Myers. To me, this was really like a Laurie story, and Michael Myers was almost an afterthought. And I think that's where everyone felt stunned after they watched this movie, because it didn't connect. It didn't connect all the dots. You know, Corey, a great build-up story. I think his ability to play Myers was a great spin, and he had some good kills, but it just ended. You know, like it didn't. We didn't get closure outside of the obvious visuals that we received, but storyline, I felt like it was really disconnected. You know, we'll talk ratings later. I feel like my score is a little generous, but overall, like I didn't hate it, but I have to keep watching it. I feel like every time I see it, I'm just trying to connect more dots, and it's never going to connect. That's just the reality, but it does get better as you watch it, in my opinion.
That was good, Steve. That was good. I'm going to save my thoughts on that, though. We're going to go down the line. And it's so funny, as you were talking and you said it, my whole lights just went out in the house. I don't know what it is. This is the second week in a row we had something happen.
Really?
Yeah, dude, seriously. Like you can see, there's only one section on in the back. The other ones just went down. I think the fuse blew.
And we're back.
We are back, baby. That's
After
it.
these
Oh
messages.
Marissa, talk to us about Halloween Ends.
Oh, man. Okay.
Oh, God.
I do agree with a lot of what Steve said. It would have been a good movie if it was like a standalone, like kind of like H3. Like it would have been a good movie. And I probably would have appreciated more, but to end the trilogy, I didn't like it at all. I'm one of those fans that like watches Halloween because I love Michael Myers. I'm a Michael Myers fangirl. So to like for this movie to not have him in it and like the parts that he was in it, he was so weak and feeble and just it was ridiculous to me. I don't know. And I mean, it just didn't make sense either because in Kills they were saying, oh, like the more he kills, the more he transcends, and like now he's like some weak, like feeble old man, which like it really pissed me off. I was like, what? And yeah, I mean, I appreciated the fact that they tried to make it like I think they tried to um pay like honor Christine, the movie Christine, like they kind of like threw in some Easter eggs like in that way, which I appreciated. I liked that. But I just didn't. I don't know. The movie as a whole, I didn't really like it. Lori like felt off. Allison's character felt off. I feel really bad for James G. Courtney. Like I don't know that this is like his last movie, and I wanted to see him in action, and
it didn't do justice. It didn't do justice. Yeah, that's
they shit all over the Myers character. They really did, in my opinion. And like to end it that way. Am I allowed to say spoilers on here?
Yeah, go ahead.
To like just tie him up like that and like throw him in the freaking grinder, like. Really? That's how it ends?
Must have been a movie Good Burger. I don't know if you guys said, you go in the grinder. That's it.
Yes. I was just like, really, that's how you're going to kill off, like, the iconic Michael Myers, the boogeyman. Like, like, you can't kill the boogeyman, but I guess that line just doesn't even apply anymore. I don't know. It was just, I didn't like it, but I'm not going to disrespect people that do like the movie. Like, I'm not one of those like people that's gonna take my time to like argue with people, debate online, and like call them names or whatever just because they like the movie. It's like ridiculous. I'm seeing people like arguing online over it, and I'm just like, okay, if you like the movie, like that's fine, but I don't like it.
Yeah, it's subjective. It's like you don't have to kill somebody like just because they have their own opinion of it. Like it does. It's not what you believe, but It is what it is. And it's my man, Steel City.
How's it going?
What's up, Scotty? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Not bad. Can't complain.
Oh, hey, I love the Loomis, by the way.
Oh, yes. Well, we're gonna get more Loomis.
I gotta love the Loomis. Come on, you gotta do it up. You gotta cut the hair. You gotta do everything.
You guys are pushing me, man. Everybody's pushing me to do Loomis.
When are you gonna do the Loomis reveal?
If I can cut my hair and do Spalding, you can do Loomis.
Listen, I'm down, man. I'll run out. Like I said, the one thing I want to do is just run out of convention, like with the Loomis gear on. I'm like, where'd it go? The evil is gone. That's it.
I wish you were going to a convention this weekend, man. Damn.
Well, shit. Actually, I am, Steve. I'm chiller.
Whoa. And I know you've got a couple trench coats.
Yeah, but I don't got the whole. It's gonna look like a Dollar Tree Loomis, man. I mean, I don't have the whole. Somebody out there's gonna say, "Oh, where's the facial?" Nah, somebody's gonna crucify. Forget about it. I'll be all over the Myers groups. They're gonna take pictures of me. Yeah, look at this bootleg Loomis that came out here.
The toxic fans.
I'm instantly canceled. I mean, I would do that just for them to do that. I'm like, all right, cancel me. I'm still gonna come out as Loomis, and guess what? You still got to cancel me again. You can cancel me on social media. You can't cancel me in real life. With that being said, Eli, talk to us. Halloween ends. What is your thoughts?
Okay. So overall, I would have to say there were too many separate storylines that they try to combine into one. They didn't allow any of them to breathe per se. So a good example is Corey. Why was he? We already know like a gist of why he was sent down the path he was sent, because the whole kid locking him in the closet, right? And then him breaking out of it. Kid was stupid, was standing in front of the door. Then there goes little Timmy, right? And so we understand why Corey went down that path. However, I just don't really agree like how he was trying to be like the next Michael almost, but at the same time he was like drug into what is that even called? Like a tunnel or the old like
good old fashioned
piping?
sewer. Good old
Yeah,
fashioned
thank
sewer.
you. And then he sees Michael Myers right there, like old as time, is what I got my thoughts behind. I'm like, okay, so here's Michael Myers meets Corey. Two of them have an exchange. Although I did like how, like, if you the whole scene where they looked through Corey's eye and saw like what exactly happened to him and kind of like gained Michael Myers' trust per se. And then all of a sudden you see Corey trying to like do all these spree killings with Doctor and that charge nurse. I'm not very good with names. I'm like so loaded up on cold meds. But anyways, like you can see where he was trying to become Michael Myers. However, Michael Myers had to come back and clean up Corey's mess.
I felt almost as if Michael Myers was Master Splinter in that sewer. Okay.
Okay.
Corey, one must kill for power. I just like feed me victims. Like, and Corey's just over here. He just feed him the victims to give him the power. Listen, all right. So I gotta say this. All right. So I'm looking at ends right here, and I already, after hearing people not spoil it, but saying what they're saying about it, my expectations were low. But man, this really topped it when I watched the film, and I try to be positive. I try to watch it and stay positive, not listen to people. The only thing I really enjoyed of this film was Laurie. Was Laurie actually like coming to terms with the fact like she's over it now? You know, she got some closure. She's able to live her life again. You know, and she's doing the things that she used to do, and she's baking and she's decorating. You know, and that was cool seeing Laurie in that role again. You know, coming like full circle. But Michael and the character, what they did to James Jude Courtney, man, I was very disappointed. You can't pick this up from Kills at all. This is a separate, should have been a standalone film. This was more of a love story between Corey and Allison. And it was like Days of Our Lives thriller and Evil Rides Tonight. Like the fact that Corey now is stronger than Michael, and he's tossing him around like because Michael's weak because he's been living in a sewer. And you know,
he also got beat up by the band a couple hours before.
Yeah,
high school. He got beat up by a bunch of high schoolers, but then he roughs up Michael.
What does that say? Now it means high schoolers could beat up Michael. That's wild, man. I mean, and all of a sudden
it's the damn hormones in the food.
I'm telling you, man, it's something going on in that McDonald's. No, don't sue me, Mickey D's. Please, we need a sponsorship. Anyway, you know, like I'm just thinking about it. Like it made no sense to me. You throw this whole new angle in with Allison, and she's feeling the type of way. She's like desperate for love in this film too. It's like it's sickening almost. And then Corey's just the guy, you know, gets picked on because this accident that happened and he killed this young boy. And I don't know, man. He's just all of a sudden this badass. He doesn't take no more. He sees Michael, and then Michael with that. What was that? What's this supernatural shit with Michael grabbing him, right? And like transferring his power to Corey. And then all of a sudden, I mean, the way Jamie Lee sold that when he was looking at her, and it's like the eyes, and she's like, shit, shocked over here. I've seen those eyes before. It's like Michael's eyes. I'm like, you're gonna tell? Like, I don't know. It was just it was very weird. It was very weird how that all went down. And then like we thought that okay, maybe he's gonna be the next Michael Myers, and then he's not. You know, that's it. Michael killed him. I just don't understand. Like you have this big buildup. You know, this big buildup between it's supposed to be the showdown between the final showdown between Jamie Lee and Michael, between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. And it was stale. It fell flat. It was quick. And
yeah, that fight scene lasted like 2 minutes.
They could have done so much better.
Like in H2O, at least it lasted like a good like 15, 20 minutes. That whole like fight scene with them, like it was a long time.
Yeah, and H2O, you know, it's another one that was underrated. People just throw it under H2O. I enjoyed H2O for what it was. You know,
agreed. I think it was one of those nice it came out at the right time of horror, right? You have that Dimension Films era where Scream came out, and then they just banged out some amazing films. Like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, yada yada. But it had that feeling and that freshness of the early 2000s that really kind of just reinvented Michael or retold the story of Michael outside of Haddonfield. So to me, I always like that. That's one of my favorites, to be honest, too. Outside of the classics, because it's a fresh take on Myers, and that's really what we were looking for in this trilogy. What I wanted to say before, though, like when you were saying you were disappointed, I felt like Laurie gave up the whole idea of the story in the beginning when they had that montage, right? Because now she's saying that Michael Myers is an ideology and he's affected the town through trauma in all these different ways, right? So where they specify like the idea of the shape, it's not about Michael Myers anymore. It's about the trauma that he started. It's about Jamie recovering. It's about Corey kind of resembling the same thing as Michael. So now they're saying like now he's transcending into like a idea of evil. And that's what I think they were leaning more where at the end of the day, we know that Michael Myers is this apex predator that doesn't really have a motive but just kills. Like I don't think there's a supernatural sense of, or maybe there is that essence of evil, but that's not what most people signed up for. They wanted to see the showdown. And I was telling you a while ago, I was like, I don't think fans would have been, I think fans wanted to see them almost kill each other or stab each other, or maybe Michael at the end grab her into that grinder, like, and that's not what they got. It's like, I'm trying to think, like, I was thinking to myself, like, what does the average Halloween fan expect out of this? Like, without giving you the same turkey sandwich, like, you want that big finale that you've been waiting for with that whole trilogy. You want that main event, right? And it didn't give it to you. It took a little, little turn on the side and just went up the road.
Yeah.
So I think I told you too, like after I saw that finale, I thought, I saw a late night show. I thought I dozed off when I saw the final cut. I went home and watched the last half an hour again, and I didn't miss anything because I was like, man, it was so anticlimactic. They just slit his wrist. They stabbed him in the chest. It's a wrap. All of a sudden, he's crowd surfing to the town.
Yeah,
he's crowd surfing to the dumpster. But the whole ideology too is that whole scene where evil dies tonight. I think the main point is they want to take each movie from the trilogy and make it into a social issue, right? I think that's what the main point of this new trilogy is, where first movie she's recovering from alcoholism, second movie
and
PTSD. Now PTSD, and it's also a township rebellion, right? Which we've kind of we saw in real life. I think they were inspired by a lot of true events at the time, right? So now the town is coming together because now they're over. Now they moved on from what Michael has done. So Laurie is also reflecting what the town is going through, where they're coming back together and they're finally seeing Myers turn into chopped meat. So yeah, like if you see, like the town has changed in 4 years, just like Jamie has changed in 4 years.
Yeah.
But it's not what we were waiting for. We wanted the epic showdown. I think people can put James Jude Courtney as one of the best Myers that have ever worn the mask, right next to Nick Castle. If to me, I almost want to say he's the best. I'm trying not to be biased, but 78 is one of my favorites. But James has been in so many films, and he's put a whole new spin on this Myers, and they cut him out, and that's why everyone's so disappointed, because he did such a great job in this new trilogy.
He was brutal. He brought that brutality. Like obviously, we talked about it. Rob Zombie,
right? It had that hint of zombie in there for sure.
Yeah, his version of Michael Myers was the most brutal we've seen ever until now. James Jude Courtney with 2018 going to Kills and Ends. We started seeing that brutality that we've seen in zombies films, and that's honestly what I wanted to see. you know, all along with a good storyline. But I mean, this movie, for most, it just fell flat, and people are just like, man, they are bashing this online. But you
Memes,
know,
so many memes.
yeah, yeah, and there's a lot, and I want to see like, okay, so out of everything in this film, Steve, you brought up some good points. Eli, Marissa, what what was the positives? That what was like your favorite part of Halloween Ends?
Hmm. I
When it
think
was
my
over.
favorite. Yeah, full. I think my favorite part was the fact that even though the whole showdown between Laurie and Michael Myers wasn't as climactic as I personally would have enjoyed, but just seeing the showdown between Michael Myers and Corey, though, that was a little like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting this, but I mean, I kind of vibe with it. So that's a positive in my perspective. Along with when Lori was like, "Those are Michael's eyes," and then she was talking to her friend, the bartender, who got Lori to talk to the little boy's dad, and was like, "That kid who used to mow my lawn, that was Corey, but this person is not Corey anymore." And I kind of liked that tie because, like, it kind of happens like in other like Halloween movies, like something very traumatic happens to one person that leads them down that dark path. And that's where I made that connection. Like, yes, someone's eyes can change with the whole traumatic effect after that. Like, if you take Laurie from Halloween Ends and then compare her to the very first Halloween movie, like, they're two separate people because of the amount of trauma that she's went through with Michael Myers essentially hunting her down. Like, it was just so cool. I like doing the whole jigsaw puzzle of how each character either grows or like to a good person or to like an evil entity almost.
Yeah.
That's my positive.
All right, I got to on that point. I got to say, I felt like Lori kind of went full circle with it though
Yes.
from the beginning to now. She's it's like she got closure, like I stated. So
Mhm.
that was the best for me. That was, you know, my standout I guess moments or moment in the movie was just Lori being Lori again.
Yeah, I think Eli made a really good point, and I think that's really what they were trying to allude, that it's an ideology and it's a mindset, and it's something that evil, greed, these are things that transcend from other people, and people do change, right? Whether it's good or bad. And I don't know if Corey was tempted. I don't think Corey was just naturally evil because of this traumatic situation, but what did make him cross over was the fact that the town turned their back on him, right? Because they didn't know that this was truly a mistake, and he was put in a situation where he was manipulated, and he didn't know that that little boy was there. And that was one hell of a intro as well. Like, I'm like, damn, all right, wait, we're about to taste a different flavor over here. Like, when they did that, you got to give them some credit, because that took some stones to kind of just start off that movie like that. I'm like, all right, cool. Now I got locked in the second that happened, and you saw that blue homage to Season of the Witch. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. We're gonna see something different tonight. And also, like, when Corey's like, oh, we're gonna have fun tonight, and then they zoom in, I'm like, oh shit, something wicked's gonna happen, you know? Like,
That was a rough fall, man. That got me when the kid fell.
I saw a little bit of it today, and I saw it on my iPad, and I still cringed. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, you feel it right here. You're like, damn, he
Yeah,
he went like 4 flights.
he took a bump.
Yeah, it's funny. Before that, the little boy, he starts screaming like crash landing before that. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's like their little Easter egg of saying like what's gonna happen, you know? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Like foreshadowing.
yeah, a little foreshadow.
Yeah. Marissa, what was the positive or positives that I guess you can take out of this movie, out of Halloween Ends? What stood out for you?
That James Drew Courtney was in it.
Hey, you know, hey, listen, it's positive.
I'm kidding. Well, I mean, that is a big plus, but I think he's the best Michael too.
I was literally about to ask you, like, is he the best Michael, or where does he stand in your book? Because I agree as well. Like, the more and more I'm watching this, and I think about the movies, without trying to be biased, I'm like, man, I think he's gonna go down as the GOAT, in my opinion, right next to Nick Castle, because that first portrayal of Michael, you just can't beat. It's the best. How he looks, the mannerism. Um, but I think Nick nailed it. Like, his gestures are just smooth, and his kills and his brutality, like Jimmy said, like, there's no one else that really locked that essence in. He's the triple threat when it came to that.
Yeah, I agree. But I think I would put James as number one for sure.
Yeah.
I also love Dick Warlock. I love his. I think he just did something so different, like with his robotic like walk, very eerie. And I also love H6 Myers, George P. Wilbur, right? Yeah, he played. And I think it was another actor too that played him. I think they switched. But anyway, I like H6 Myers, H2, and James Jude Courtney, but I put James Jude Courtney as number one for me.
When you rank your Myers, like, do you take into effect like the design of the mask as well, and how they carry with the like, is the aesthetics a piece of it as well, or do you like just like the mannerisms?
I think it's a mix of both. Yeah.
Yeah, same. That's why I wanted to ask, because I'm just like, you say a movie and I automatically like lock in the mask. Like, what is so different about each mask? Because certain ones, I mean, I think people dislike part 5 maybe least, but I do like part 6, that mask too.
Yeah.
A lot of people, the average Joe, doesn't like it.
I think look wise, he's amazing in Halloween 6. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have the T-shirt on. It's like, if I close my eyes, I'm like, you're wearing the T-shirt.
I'm a simp for H6 Michael.
Hey, listen, I gotta be honest though. Like, you think of Michael Myers, and it's funny because when I think of when you think, obviously there's only one Freddy Krueger. Like Jason, Kane Hodder sticks out, right? When you think of Jason, Kane, and then CJ. But really, it's Kane that people, the majority, think when they think Jason. When you think Michael, for me, it's like before James Jude Courtney, it was tough, man. Nick Castle, yeah,
Many.
legend, but like none of them to me stood out. But what James Jude Courtney did as Michael Myers, he like totally, completely, I feel like revitalized the whole character. So 2018, it was fresh.
Yeah.
I thought, and I think that 2018, and a couple of people that, you guys probably know some of these people I'm talking about, but they threw out, oh, you like 2018? Oh, Jesus. Like, again, crucify me for liking it. But I really thought, and I still think, that 2018 is one of the best in the entire franchise. How they came back with it. And
like that scene, like that sequence where he bumps into the kids wearing masks, and in that whole sequence where he's just going house to house, like killing people. Like, I got chills. I was like, oh, wow, he is like, he just embodied Michael so much. Like, just nailed it. He nailed that performance. I loved it.
Oh, he did. And I love those scenes.
I think that's what people expected out of Kills, right? It's like they wanted that one night of brutality, and they're also, the whole idea of Kills is like, Mike, what happens if Michael Myers has free range for one night, even though he did in part 2, right? It kind of mirrors the idea. And I think that was the idea overall. Like, part 1 mirrors 2018, like, hey, it's a one-on-one showdown with Laurie and Michael. Part 2 is like, Laurie's kind of in the hospital. You don't really see her as much, and Michael gets to do his killing spree. And then part 3, it's an absence of Michael's, like, that's, I don't think they really try to like cookie cut it, but that's kind of like how it felt. And also, if you look at like the opening montages, each one is like a mirror homage to each movie, right? 78 and 2018 are the same. Um, 81 Kills the same, and then Season of the Witch, and this one it has that blue, illuminating logo. So I
And do you
think
think
that was another Easter egg. But I'm sorry, what was it?
No, I was saying, do you think that's what they were trying to do? Like they did this purposely with Ends. They wanted to treat it like a standalone, like Season of the Witch.
No, I don't think so. I think they're just their homages, but Ends. I think, and again, I spoke to my friend Chris, and he made a good point. He goes, if this movie was part two and Kills was the end, people would be really satisfied.
Maybe.
With if you take Ends with like, I'm sorry, if you take Kills and you lead up to that like part where he annihilates the whole town, and then all of a sudden Laurie shows up at the end,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
shit's going down, people would be on an uproar and say, "This is the best fucking movie I've ever seen." Think about
You know
it.
what? That's a good point, man. I agree.
Kills wasn't. It was one of those movies that it was off by a dial, and if they did it right, and if it was that finality, and it builds up to that one-on-one match that we saw in '78, then people would be like, "Man, this trilogy this is it. This is," or they call it. I forget what the term is, but now they have this whole term for '78 and this trilogy because they consider that to be one now. But that would have put a bow on it, and everyone would have been so freaking happy. Minus the whole chanting of "Evil Dies Tonight," right?
Oh Jesus,
But
Michael.
if that built up, like like if that built up, like there's so many good parts in Kills that I liked, and what you said before, what you liked from 2018, where he runs into like the kids in the Silver Shamrock outfits, like there's that hidden unit. It's that little homage where like he kills the kids. He kills kids in part two, which is insane, right? That's that brutality you're talking about. But that's also like they joined that Silver Shamrock Part 3 universe into it. So now it kind of connected all the dots, which I thought was really cool because 3 used to be a standalone. But now when you start incorporating these masks, it's like cool that's in that Halloween world. So to me, that's what I liked out of Kills too. And again, I didn't hate Kills, but it just got bubblegum. That's all. It's like so unreal. Like 20 people destroy Michael Myers. And then all of a sudden, he's back in the game.
It's like a wrestling match, man.
It's a blood splatter, right? It's Rocky, I'm talking your language.
It's Michael and Jamie, the final round. I tell you.
I didn't hear no bell, Myers.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't hear no bell. Get up. Because Jamie loves you. Or Lori loves you.
And he got up and he annihilated everyone. Even Michael C. Was it Michael C. Hall or whatever? But
Michael Anthony Hall. Oh, this guy. Listen, every time we say Evil Dies Tonight, dude, I was waiting for Kelly LeBrock to pop out of somewhere because I can't take him serious. I'm thinking weird science.
Yeah.
But like okay, all right. So I got to ask you all this. How would you have ended Ends? I want to start with Eli.
Oh boy. Okay, now I'm in the hot seat.
Yep.
I think how I personally would have ended it would have been like merging, kind of like what Steve was saying, Kills and Ends, because I really did like your take on that. Like the whole town being like annihilated, right? He's going from door to door, but also like having the final end be just the only showdown between Laurie and Michael Myers, because that's what me being such a fan of the Halloween like components is, I really love the story between both Michael Myers and Laurie. But where they kind of lost me was the whole Corey story. I feel like they should have added that more like the beginning of the whole trilogies rather than saving it for the end. That's just my personal, I don't know, seasoning on it.
Okay. All right. What about you, Marissa?
Yeah, probably would have had him taking down Lori along with him, just grab her ass, drag her down,
Yeah.
get in the grinder.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, or like I don't know. I wouldn't have like killed Michael off completely like that, because like every Halloween movie, like every timeline that ends, like you think he's dead, but he's not actually dead. You
Yeah.
can't kill him. So I kind of wish they would have like either had her die along with him, or like kind of left it like a mystery, like open ended. You know?
And Steve, I'm assuming that you would have ended it from what you said before. You would have did the swap. You would have had ends right after 2018, and then kills with a little twist on it. But is there any other, like, if you couldn't do that and you're dealing with this movie right here, just this movie, how would you have ended ends?
So when I thought about it, I kept saying like, what's gonna happen? Because a good part of me thought maybe Lori was gonna sacrifice herself or do something extreme. And I thought maybe that Michael was gonna show, and I think people would have been disappointed, but he would have showed like an ounce of humanity, and maybe like as they went through this brutal finale, maybe he took that, maybe Jamie kind of like put that knife in his chest, and I thought maybe like at the end he would show some humanity and just maybe he would kind of ease into it, and kind of realize that it's over. That's what I thought maybe his spinoff was. But to me, I think the whole transcending, and I think that leads back to the one with Danielle Harris. That's part 5, correct?
4 and 5.
Yeah, part 5, right? So like the whole idea of like touching, like he, in this sense, he looked at Corey through his eyes, but traditionally, like when he touched his niece, it was implied that he transferred the power, like the evil, right? He kind of did that in 2018 when he touched the granddaughter, Allie. And I thought, oh wow, like when they were escaping, everyone was thinking, oh, he may have transferred the curse to her or the evil to her. So I was thinking in my head, like maybe she was kind of guiding Corey a little bit, and Corey was just lost his way, and he was so much in love and obsessed with Myers that he died. And I thought maybe Allison, the way that she like drove off into the sunset, I was thinking to myself, maybe she still has that evil in her, and that kept it open ended.
Oh,
I would have loved that, and I think that could still work. But that could be a nice homage to the Danielle Harris kind of saga of transferring through. But in this case, he's not related to her, so that part always like killed me. I always enjoyed that Lori was related to him in some aspect, and he wants to end his family bloodline through this curse. But now it's totally separate. So
well, I don't know,
I would have
because
liked
that's Lori's granddaughter.
right, but her and Michael like are not connected. So it's like, why would Michael transfer that evil? That's like,
Keep it fresh, man. Young the youth, they're the future of killing.
Yeah. No, like I mean that works. It's like again, Michael Myers is supposed to be an ideology, and it struck fear in the town, and the town is trying to find closure along with Lori. So I would have thought that it was going to be some romantic ending where, they're jabbing each other. Lori's almost dying, Michael's dying, and he shows a little ounce of humanity. There's a little left of him being that little boy and realizes the destruction that he's done, and maybe he just ends himself in some way. Did Lori have to die? Like should have been, would people have been satisfied with her dying, or
Scott said yes.
that's what the real that's what the slasher fans want, right? Like,
well, because she's not doing any more. She said that before, but like this might really be it this time. So
oh yeah, for her it is. And another thing too, it's like, all right, well, from Rob Zombie, we had about 10 years before we revisited this franchise. How much longer do they have to take? Like, everyone's saying, oh, maybe in 5 years they'll revisit. Is that too soon? Do they have to wait another 10 years? Or do they have to jump into a whole new retelling? Or is it just a whole new spinoff of the franchise? Like, what do fans want?
that's the question. You're right. That is the question. I mean, do we even want anything else? I mean, I think after this one, people are so upset. I feel like they want something to be done. Okay, so here's what I would have done. Pay attention, not you guys. I know you're listening out there, okay? Blum, you hear me. What you should have did, you son of a gun, you should have had it flashback to that night when he's in the house after he killed Lori's daughter, right? And somehow the town and the cops, everybody would have just jumped on this guy and would have got him down, would have got him sedated, okay? And that was it. Michael's going away. He's locked up for life. They would have took him. He would have been on death row. Okay, this is my theory. He's on death row. Years pass because they're waiting to actually finally get him. And he doesn't have the mask in the jail. Like the mask is off. You know what I'm saying? It's just his face. It's James Jude Courtney. It's the old man Michael. And he's on the way out. He's walking that green mile. And Lori's happy. Everybody, Allison, they're content. They're living their life. Lori's being Lori again. And there he is in the chair. And somehow, as they're about to inject him, he takes the needle, breaks out, stabs them, breaks out of the asylum. Michael escapes again as they were gonna, put him in, finally put him to rest. Evil escapes. He was here. Didn't get injected. Where is he? Sheriff, I tell you, 2 guards are dead. No, but yeah, so and then he escapes now, and now Lori sees it's all over the news, and Lori sees like, oh shit, wait a minute, Michael's out again, and here he goes, and it's like he's out with a vengeance, and he goes in, and you see him go to like Spirit Halloween, make it modern, go into Spirit, grab a mask, grab a Myers mask, take it on, that's it, like some crazy stuff like that, to make it like with a modern twist to it. He gets his mask back. Like that one scene is so iconic in 2018 when he has that mask and he's like, yep, and he puts it right back on. I got chills still to this day. I get shivers, chills. They're multiplying. Okay, every time I see that scene,
he pops that trunk and that mask.
Yeah, man, it's like, whew, that was it. I can watch it even today, man. It's like one of the most iconic scenes of the whole franchise.
You're right. That's kind of like a rebirth moment when he puts that on and the crowd is fired up at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, here he is, he's back, baby, and I think like,
and he did it.
Yeah, and that's why 2018 I still think is the best. I think it's up there with 1 for real, but 4 in my book. But I think it's right there, man. But anyway, I think with this one, he comes out, and that's the whole thing. He's out, and Lori's stressing again. She was just getting her life back, and now they finally put an end to Michael. Like, the town realizes this, but he finds Lori. He goes back to the house after killing so many people again, and it's the big showdown. I wanted to see a big showdown between both of them, and honestly, I think they both should have killed each other. Steve, to your point where you said they're both jabbing each other, I think they both should have killed each other right there somehow, and just
that would have been interesting because like if they, like you said, like from that one scene where maybe he would have escaped, they flipped the script and now the town is hunting him. Like when does that ever happen? When anyone hunts him?
Yeah.
And maybe you could have incorporated the sewers. They could have got him in there, and they could have just been a manhunt for one night where everyone is the predator is now the prey, right? Now they're hunting his ass. That's how it ends. And people would have loved it. And they could have still incorporated an epic showdown.
Yeah. No, I agree. Either way would have worked, man. I'm just telling you, it would have been better. There's so many different options that would have been better than what we got with ends. And that's just what makes me wonder now, this is how it is, and people are so upset. They have to do something else.
I have a question for everyone too, real. I didn't mean to cut you off. Like, why do you think Lori kept the mask in her living room like a piece of memorabilia? Like, was that a weird, like, so they kept it on the chair and then they flashed to every scene of the room. That was like that's the beginning of scene of 78, right? The flashing of every room, showing empty rooms, and all of a sudden there's 2 kids that are kind of messing around upstairs. So it's like the homage to saying goodbye. But I was thinking to myself, like, why would she want to keep that?
It's almost like the Predator, because you use that term, but I'm thinking about the Predator, the movie, how he had those skulls as trophies.
Mm-hmm.
This was her trophy. I killed him. I killed the Predator. I have his mask. I have the power now. So it's
that's
like,
true. I think you nailed it right there. It's a sense of control and controlling a situation. Like, hey, he's not out there. The mask is right here.
Yeah, there it is. And then you're right. There it is. That's a good point. that, you know, it's now she's in control and she's in control of her life again.
Can you hear? I'm not even
Yes.
You know what's so funny? It was my turn last week. That was 3 times we had to reconnect because apparently I got the card situation here. And now this week, it's your turn. 3 times. 3rd time's the charm.
Too many issues. Too many issues.
There we go. Well, we're almost through it. We almost pretty much wrapped it up. But we want to get your thoughts on The Mask, and that in the house. With,
The Ends mask?
I'm sorry?
You want to get my thoughts on the Ends mask?
Yeah. Well, the mask that Lori, she had it in the house as like a souvenir, as a trophy. You think it like symbolized anything, or was there any reason for that?
Maybe it symbolized her trauma or something. I don't know.
You just wanted James to pop out of there. James Duke Courtney with that mask.
I just wanted James Duke Courtney the entire movie. That's it.
Well, they left us hungry for more, and we're not getting any more, James, because they threw him in the grinder.
You mess with Kurt, and you go into the grinder.
Evil grinds tonight.
Evil grinds tonight.
Hey.
Evil grinds tonight. Evil. You know, I'm never going to be able to make meatballs and hamburgers again the same. I'm looking at that chopped meat, looking at that, thinking about Michael Myers going through the grind. But all right, guys. So before we wrap it up, could you see it? Could you see them making another film anytime soon? Could you see, like Steve, to your point, I know you said how long is it going to take? And if we see anything again, which I'm sure we will, how the hell are you going to follow up after this one?
Well, it's one of those things like, it's like Batman, right? It's like, how many times are you going to retell that word, right? Right? Like Crime Alley, he gets killed, his parents get killed. We know the Michael Myers story. They don't have to retell it to us again, right?
Mm-hmm.
What avenue are they going to take? It has to be a new chapter. It has to be someone that is just, it's another chapter in the story, and they could say Halloween, but they have to kind of tell a whole new story. I don't think it's enough time to continue. Like people are saying, oh, maybe you jump from 4 to 5 and start telling that story, but that's kind of coming from left field. You know, I think again, Rob Zombie tried to retell the story, and to me, I wouldn't say it wasn't successful, because I think they showed a brutality of Michael Myers, but I felt like he was too brutal. He was like the Terminator. He was too strong. Like you want to show that a little bit of humanity in him. You want to show that there's like a small chance that you can still defeat him. But in that case, he was indestructible, right? So he took his own liberties in that story. And I think part 1 was cool, but part 2, I think, went off the deep end. And he starts changing stories, and it got too abstract, right? So it's like you got to retell a whole new story at this point, because in the span of 44 years, we've had 12 or 13 movies already. What are you going to do to shock everyone to have that new breath of life?
That's the question, man. I really don't know. I have no idea what they would do. I know fans want to see something else, but we're not getting it. We're just going to have to deal with what we have here, because like,
do you want to see something in 5 years? Like, are you good for the next few years? Do you want to, like, you don't have that appetite to see another iteration?
I'm disappointed. I'm so disappointed. It's like, I just chalked it up as a loss. I just told myself, you know what? It's over. That's it. I'm sticking to the ones I like. I'll deal with
it.
4.
It ended.
It ends. It ends tonight. I tell you. But you know, I can't. That whole, like you said, the crowd surf scene. The town gets together. They're all taking them to like, you know, it's cheesy. Like, I don't know, man. I was not happy. I was not happy with how it ended. But you know what? This is something we got to deal with. The only thing I could see happening is if they completely just get rid of everything else that happened. You know what I'm saying? Again, wipe everything out, clean slate once again, and they pick it up from 1 or 2. What if they pick it up from after 2, from the hospital, and they start something else? I mean, there's so many things you could do. You want to go back to 4, 5, 6, and you want to spin off of that one. You could do that too. I mean, there's many things you could do, but it's like, I don't know what would be. I mean, Jamie's not doing it. Jamie Lee Curtis is done. She's not doing anything else, apparently. But, you know, Danielle Harris, Scout Taylor Compton, they might want to get back in the mix. So there's options, man. But you know what? I don't know. I don't want to see anything. I'm so scared. I'm terrified to go see another Halloween movie, because if I get disappointed again, I'm knocking on Blum's door, or whoever's making that film. Okay, somebody got some explaining to do. Okay,
at least we got Terrifier out of it.
yeah,
That is true. Yeah.
Terrifier.
Too.
They're holding it down, man. They're holding it down this Halloween season.
Officially, I know contractually, Blum is all done. So it would have to be a whole new rebirth, and they may just have to retell the story in modern times and not have Michael Myers. Just that's how you do it. Start from scratch, in 10 years and take it from there. You know.
That's it. Stop it. Don't make any more films. Okay, Evil died tonight. It died. I tell you.
We need to get we need to end this in a rating system. I want to hear everyone's score, especially you.
Yeah. I want to hear the score, and I want to hear your top 3 Halloweens. Let's go down the line. Marissa,
Okay.
you starting it up here.
All right, my score for Halloween Ends. I give it a fat 0. No, I'm kidding.
Ooh, Penny,
I'll give it like a maybe like a 1 or 2 out of 10.
Wow.
What about your top 3?
My top 3 Myers movies, Halloween movie. Oh, that's a tough one. Shit. Halloween. I don't know. It's so tough. Okay.
There's no
Halloween
pressure.
4, Halloween 4.
Okay.
5 and shit. It's a tie between 6 and maybe Kills.
Ooh, geez,
Wow.
Listen, everyone thinks my taste is trash, but that's I love.
I mean, that's your opinion. It's subjective, you know, but it's definitely different than what I hear.
That's your flavor to savor. That's all.
Yeah.
So 4, 5, and then tie between 6 and Kills. Okay, and then you give it like a 1 or 2 ends. So,
Yeah.
All right, Eli, what do we got?
Okay, just because I like the whole opening scene and Corey's story, I would have to rate it, being generous here, a 4.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Being
Generous.
generous. Okay. Yes.
Okay, 4. And what's your top 3 Halloween movies?
Top 3 would have to be the first Rob Zombie one. Hands down. I don't care if I get canceled, whatever.
Woo! We love
And
it.
then I'll have to. I'm gonna have to go with Kills as the second one, and then take it all the way back to the OG, the very first one.
All right. Yeah,
like,
I'm liking.
That's what I grew up on.
Yeah, but I'm liking these responses because it's different. You know, I hear a lot of people say the same thing over and over, but you guys, it's something different. It goes to show you that, you know, everything's subjective, especially movies and horror movies. And when talking about Halloween, there's no right or wrong. Steve-O, talk to us, buddy. What do we got?
So I'm kind of torn, but I would say I would put 78 and 2018 top shelf for me, because not only, you know, are they great, but they connect pretty well. I almost wanted to say 2018, but I'm not there yet. I've just grown up watching 78 so much, and to me it's tough because 1 and 2 is one movie to me. So I have to say 78, then I say 2018, and then damn, that last one, I'm gonna say 2, but my honorable mention is H2O.
Oh,
because it just takes me to a certain place where I watched the other movies for a long time, and then when that movie came out, again, it felt like a breath of fresh air. Like it felt like Michael Myers was updated into the 2000 era, in that Dimension Films era. So for me personally, I just love that movie. I like the tonality of it. That one scene where he finally comes back and he's kind of ascending from the ceiling. I didn't love his mask, but the whole flavor of the movie was just cool as shit to me. And I remember just having it on VHS and watching it over and over again. So
and Michael was jacked, man. He had one arm coming down, I think.
yeah, he was doing that pull.
And, unreal. He was lifting weights, man, on the low.
and the ending was like cool, and then Resurrection fucked it up, right? Like I think that's
we didn't mention today. We didn't mention Resurrection. That's a curse around here. You don't mention Resurrection.
Yeah,
That's
people
because the end was so bad.
people have a
Dangertainment.
lot. What did Buster Rhymes say? Trick or treat, motherfucker.
He's like, I
I was
got
like, I can't believe,
dangertainment. That's it.
what was it part 6? Who's the oh god, what I'm having a brain fart. The guy that's that plays Tommy Jarvis. Not Tommy Jarvis.
The,
I'm
Wrong franchise.
I forgot his name.
yeah, I'm sorry, it's getting late here. The
No,
guy
I know
that
who you're
plays
talking about.
the guy Ant-Man. Why am I forgetting his name?
Dude,
Paul
Paul
Rudd.
Paul Rudd, right?
Yeah.
The fact that he's fighting Myers, I'm like, damn, this is really getting like crazy. And then finally Busta Rhymes is fighting Myers. I'm like, all right, now we've got off the deep.
now we Busta Rhymes. He watching those Bruce Lee films. I'm telling you, he was
Yeah.
ready for Myers.
And then he dresses up as Myers. You know, that's like when reality TV first came out. So it's very humorous, but beyond unwatchable.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, dude. I can't. Oh God, Resurrection.
Keep it in the vault where it belongs.
Yeah, throw it into the fire like they went at the end.
No, actually, no. Throw it in the grinder.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you talk about Resurrection?
You go in the grinder.
Michael, you forgot something, and then he throws the DVD in there. And Resurrection, she dies in the first three minutes, so that's needs to be deleted.
Honestly, that was the only good part of the entire film was the opening, Resurrection.
My rating system is rather high. I'm somewhere. It's going to make everyone's eyes pop out, but I'm somewhere in 6.5 to 7 range. And that's very generous. I understand it, but I like it for certain reasons. And I do understand it's a very high rating, but it's in the 6 to 6.5 range.
6.2, you would say maybe 6.2.8.
Maybe a little up north, but there's things that it showed a lot of potential, but again, like you said, it's done, right? Like to show a spinoff of Michael Myers with Corey could have been something cool. And I think what was cool about Kills is like we saw these flashback scenes that showed so much more potential that they could have explored Haddonfield in other aspects of a television show or another movie. Like who didn't love those flashback scenes? There's these big gaps that they could really be filling, and they just didn't connect it. And you know, Halloween Kills could have been a good chunk of the flashbacks showing these new kills that we never knew about.
Yeah,
but they didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it showed potential. It showed, man, you could go back to Haddonfield in 1978 and kind of revisit that universe in a TV show or a mini series. But they didn't do it. You know, it was a flash in the pan. It's over. It was cool to revisit that era. Like, man, they really they nailed it. They got that flavor again, and then they took it away. You know,
those flashback scenes. You know, the flashback scene in what we seen in Kills. I think that scene when they went back, you know, that should have happened in the hospital when the cop was in the hospital next to Jamie Lee, and he was telling her what happened that night and going back. I think it should have happened at that point. That would have been a better spot to put it, I felt like. But still was cool going back there. In Loomis, the guy I think his name was Tom Jones, right? Like the singer. It's not unusual. Anyway. So do a little Carlton Banks for you guys. But yeah, I think
he sounded just like Loomis, right?
Yeah, he did. It was like, yeah, I have competition. The evil escaped. I was like, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, all right. So I want to give you guys my rating here. I'm going to give it a solid 4.27. It's around there.
I knew it.
Maybe a 5.22. I don't know, but you know what? I watched it more than once, and I tried to see. The first time I seen it, I was like, "What did I just watch?" So I had to watch it again and again, and I'm like, "All right." Lori, like I said before, I love that part. I love the part that, you know, she's back to herself. The vibe, the feel of it was very Halloween-like. It kind of brought back the like memories of part 4. So I gave it that, and I tried. I don't know, man. James Drew Courtney, and this is another positive, you know, him portraying Michael. There wasn't that many positives I could really take out of this movie, man. So I was trying to give it a fair rating. I was very disappointed. So I'm going to leave it at that. You already know how I feel about the film and the parts that stick out to me and all the negatives. But top 3, and this is tough because I'm definitely putting 4 in 2018 in that mix. 4 in 2018. As far as the other one, a third one, that's the tough one because I love the original. I love part 2 for, you know, other reasons. And it's just, you know, I don't know, part 6 too is another good film, another solid film. It's tough. It's tough for that third spot, man. But if I had to pick, I'm gonna say the OG. I'm gonna say the original. Only because it was the original. And it's 44 years. 44 years later. All right. We get, you know, it's still one of the, I think, greatest horror films of all time. You know, it's not the original. It's not, you know, something, I think it's something that did put slashers on the map. You know, we've seen obviously slashers before that, but this is big studios now we were dealing with Universal. You know, we've seen Texas Chainsaw before that. We've seen Psycho in 1960, stuff like that. It definitely changed the game. Brought some buzz, but I think Halloween with that epic theme and the vibe and the feel and Michael and that mask, that William Shatner mask, it's just, it was something different. It was scary too. Like that mask, people seen the first time watching that, it's like, it's just creepy as hell, you know?
And it wasn't really that far from reality too, if you really think about it, right? Like if you think about these slashers of the time from the late 70s to the early 80s, Texas Chainsaw is, you know, it's freakish, but if you think about Halloween, it's a small town America. It's not that far from reality. There's no supernatural aspect of Michael in 78. It could really happen in any town. It could happen in your town. That's what made it so scary, you know, simplistic, the simplicity of it. And the music and the score. John Carpenter's music is just flowed and really it helped Michael Myers become so suspenseful. And they have these little beautiful shots of Michael just crashing through a closet and all that other stuff where it's not overly done. It's not CGI'd. It's about the emotion, right? It's about on Halloween how scared and paranoid and that fear that was within your finger's reach, you know?
The boogeyman.
The boogie, exactly.
Yeah.
That lore, you know, like like the whole closet, like even with 2018, where the boy's scared and he's like, "Come upstairs, the boogeyman's there," and she's making fun, and he busts through. Like, how 2018? I don't want to say it's underrated, but I think in a few years it's gonna age so well, and people are gonna see that as the Halloween movie.
I agree with you.
I don't remember anyone saying anything bad about 2018. Like, they didn't have any gripes. It's really, I don't want to say it's a perfect film, but it's really, they really didn't put their feet off the pedal, you know. They did it.
So. It picked up from 78.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, if it would have just ended with 2018, I would have been happy. And like I told you, kills, I mean, I go on for days about like what, you know, with kills and how it should have ended, and if that wasn't going to be the ending, it ends is the ending. Oh God, man, I'm just so disappointed. That's why I'm just so disappointed. As a fan, I'm just like, man, you could have did so much more, and you could have did so much better. This is what we get. All right, well, you know what? Screw it. I'm not acknowledging it. I'm just going to go to my other films. That's it. I'm going to love everything else for what it is. But guys, overall, I want you guys to plug anything. If you want, plug, the floor is yours. Any last words on the Halloween franchise as a whole? Floor is yours. Jump in, whoever you want. Whoever wants to jump in.
I mean, I don't think we have anything to plug, but you know, I designed for Fry Rags, one of the best horror brand in the game.
Oh, we're not plugging anything.
I know on October 31st we'll be dropping some of the hats that I designed. So we're bringing back some old designs, but we also have Halloween Part 2, Season of the Witch, Silver Shamrock. So Fright Rags dropped that on their Instagram. So I would say support them, you know, like they're a big supporter of not only Halloween, but just the horror community. And if I know correctly, they're supporting an event that I know one of my friends is doing on December 3rd. I don't know who's
Somebody
plugging
out here.
anything,
Who's
but
something
I
going on
don't know.
December
But
10th?
I think it's like another. I think it's another podcast, but
Yeah,
they're
it might be.
supporting my buddy over here that event for Kane Hodder, so they're a major sponsor. So keep an eye out. You know,
Yeah,
they're
big shout out to Ben and the Fright Rags team. You know, you, Ben, and everybody else on the crew. They are sponsors for Kane Jason Takes PA event, and they've been just so supportive since day one. So I really appreciate that. Definitely check out their merch, their gear. It's top of the line. Frightrags.com. That's I believe it's with the hyphen on there.
right. That little
Yep.
dash, yeah.
Yeah, the little dash. So you got what I believe the logo, the slogan, isn't it by the fans for the fans? Could be wrong on that one. But yeah, Ben's a huge fan of horror in general. We had him on the show before, and just very knowledgeable, man, and a very cool guy. So definitely down to earth too, and hard worker. You guys work hard at Fright Rags, man. Extremely hard, from what I've
Yeah,
seen, what I've
it's
heard.
a small team. You know, I started off as a fan, and that's my origin story. You know, I design apparel for a living, but I've been friends with Ben for a long time. And when I left one of my jobs, we became friends. And he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you want to, do you want to design for us?" And I was like, "Absolutely," you know. And it's been going on for 3 years, and it's great. They're like my, they're like my other family. And it's cool to see behind the scenes because people think it's so easy. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
oh, they're releasing all this stuff. Like, there's a lot of work to every drop, and not that it's stressful, but it takes a lot of components and a lot of things to happen in order to get this high level quality merch to people. You know, because a lot of people do it, but Fry Rags to me is one of the originators that people try to emulate. They want to be like Fry Rags, but we're doing other categories. You know, they're always doing t-shirts, but what I help out is I help out with hats and any other cool items that are out the box that I think people really want. You know, like we did polo shirts. In the winter, we're gonna have this really cool drop that's coming out in January. So we're gonna do a whole winter collection that I designed. So we're kind of putting a bow on that. So that's gonna be huge. So
I'm waiting
shout out
for it,
to
man.
Ben. Shout out to Ben. They're big supporters of Horror 365, and I think they're going to continue to be big supporters. So I think
Much
they're
love,
riding
guys.
the growth. They're riding the growth of this podcast, and I know he's excited for the to support for that Kane event. So if you're watching, if you have not bought tickets, you still have some time. Jump on this special event. This is an event that Jimmy has curated, and it's a con, but he's giving you this opportunity to have this one night with Kane Hodder that I know we joke around. We say it's like a wedding style event, but you have this one night with this epic icon. We talk about consistency. We talk about James U. Courtney has been Michael Myers for 3 years, for 3 movies, but Kane he's been it for what, 3 as well. So
Cool.
right, is it 3? 4. Okay. And not only that, but you're celebrating his legacy, but you're also celebrating the anniversary of Jason Goes to Hell.
Yep. Adam
And
Marcus
what's
is going to be in the
separated
building too.
and Adam Marcus. And my last statement, compared to any other con, Jimmy is working with Kane to give back. You know, they're supporting. You know, when I first met you last year, you told me about this event, and the first thing you told me is we're giving back to the Burn Foundation. So it's an event that gives back. When horror gives back, it's a genre that has the best community over any other genre. Horror, comic, horror is just pure passion, and people, if you do this event, you're giving back to Kane's Foundation, and you're making a difference. So you're
I
killing a
appreciate
lot
that.
of birds with one stone. You're having an incredible night, incredible food. You're watching this movie with the director, with Kane, and you're giving back. So it's like, boom, it has the makings for something special that hopefully we get to do every year. So please support my buddy over here because it's only going to get bigger and better, but it only comes with everyone's support.
Steve, that man, bring a tear to a glass eye, bud. I appreciate that very much, man. That plug. And yeah, we're trying hard, man, to make it a really cool show for everybody. I think it's going to be, well, I know it's going to be a night that people aren't going to forget that come out there. It's just definitely going to be something special. That one night only, December 10th. Just hanging out. You know, I want to be different. I want to be a convention. Not to knock them, but I just don't want that feel, that cold feel where you're waiting online for like how long? You spend a couple minutes and then you're on your merry way. Now this time you can get your autograph, yeah, but you're at a dinner with them. These guys contractually, they are going to be going around and mingling with the fans and talking with you one-on-one and just hanging out with you and watching a movie with them. And they're talking about it with Q&A. So it's something special, man. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. It's,
man,
it's not one of those things where, like you said, you're not waiting online for 3, 4, 5 hours and you see this horror icon for what, 45 seconds?
Yeah.
You get your picture, you're done. Like you're with Kane for a few hours and you're picking his brain. You get to meet him. You get your photo op, your autograph, your dinner, your movie. You're creating an experience. So people watch out. This is going to be something special.
I agree, Steve-O. So, guys, before we conclude, what are we doing for Halloween? It's Halloween weekend. What's happening? So, on a lighter note here, Marissa, what do you got going on? What you Scotty doing?
Lots of Halloween parties, going out drinking.
All right.
Dressing up,
Frankie.
obviously.
Evil drinks tonight.
Evil buys tonight. Evil buy shots tonight.
There you go.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I gotta decide what costume I'm wearing. I have a ton of different.
Oh, geez, that's probably the hardest decision.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
I'm sure you got. I better see Scott as Captain Spaulding. Okay, I can't see him as anything else. He fucking blows it out of the water, man.
He misses cosplaying as Jason. He's gonna go back to Jason for a little bit.
You know what? You please, man. I will have to invest in him because I lost a Jason. I need another Jason.
Yeah.
Listen, that sounds like fun. Going out, having a couple drinks, enjoying, watching some horror movies at nighttime. I know that's on my schedule. Eli, what are we doing? What do we got for Halloween?
I got a Halloween party get together that I have with my unit. I'm going as the one and only Gomez Adams, and I'm sad that my lovely woman, my other half, cannot attend with me because she's in Jersey.
Shout out to Hope.
Yeah. Because I know she'll just die to be Morticia again. She kills it every time. But I have the freaking pinstripe suit that I got. Like, it was a miracle I found it at a thrift store, so I'm gonna wear it every chance I get this time. And yeah, I'm just gonna have fun. I am gonna be the designated driver for all of my buddies because they turn to children when they drink. Someone has to be responsible.
Yeah, so you gotta have one. Yeah. Always have one responsible.
Exactly.
Yep. But that's awesome, Steve. What do you got? Anything on the lineup for Halloween?
Let's see. This weekend I'm hitting a local con, Chiller Theater. I'm going with my daughter tomorrow night. And hopefully I'm meeting up with you on Saturday. We're going to get the good word out, right? And then
the good word of the Lord.
Monday's all about just Monday's all about family, I'll work. I'll end the day early and just live a little vicariously through my little girl, take her around town, and we'll see. Hopefully I can get a scare with one of these kids. We don't get too many trick-or-treaters by us, but hopefully by the time we get home, maybe I'll throw on the Myers mask and open up some doors.
Oh, ooh, man. Oh, wait a minute.
We'll see.
I'm going trick-or-treating. That's it.
You going trick-or-treating as Loomis?
Yeah, as the bootleg one, probably. I got a trench coat. I got all the gear. I just need to maybe I'll just shave my hair. Who knows, man? I'll look like Dr. Evil if I'm bald, though. That's Jesus Christ.
Listen. Saturday, come through my house early. I'll look at a little picture and I'll shape you up. You'll be ready.
I'll be running down the streets over here, man. Forget about it. He
had the blackest eyes. Devil's eyes.
I see them, I tell you. Sheriff, Michael Myers is here in this town. He's going after that little girl. There's like 17 little girls, Jimmy. Who are you talking about? All of them, somebody named Jamie. Jesus. But yeah, man. So honestly, Halloween, I am going trick or treat with Mini Jason. Okay. Shout out to Mini Jason and Horror Daddy who couldn't join us today, which he has some knee issues going on right now. I told him he's getting older. You know, he's been cosplaying as Leatherface at the Haunt. And I said, man, you're getting old, man. I got to get you some Bengay and Ace bandages. I'm going to go to CVS. I got it covered for you, man. I mean, I got heating pads, whatever you need, but yeah, he was at a commission today. Shout out to Josh, Hard Daddy, and shout out to Hope for helping us, you know, connecting, get Eli getting you on the show, man. She's awesome. She's also helping out with the event. She's going to be our photographer for Jason. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Awesome, just meeting both of you down by the NJ Con as well. This is what it is. It's about family, guys. It's about, you know, horror equals family, and I posted it. That's what it is. I love this community, and I'm not going to stop supporting it and being a part of it until I'm in the grave. And even then, play my promos at the funeral home. It's going to continue, baby. That's it. That's it. But guys, happy Halloween. Enjoy your weekends. Horrorheads, if you're listening, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And of course, as always, well, even though it's Halloween this weekend, yeah, we're celebrating it. But even after Halloween, we're going to continue to celebrate horror 365. And thank you for doing the same. We're going to see you next week.